So, I have a story time. I'm telling this story which I had gone back and forth about if I really want to share this on the internet. I want to be one of those fake private people, which I am pretty private, but I want to be one of those fake private people and not tell all my business. I just really wasn't sure if this was the story for the internet, but it has to live somewhere. And today is the 23rd of November, which marks the 4th year that someone very dear to me passed away, my ex, Robin Scott. And with that said, I am going to tell this story. This has nothing to do with him, but because he is one of my favorite exes, this is a story that I'm going to share in honor of his memory. So basically, these last 2 years, I was quietly, not secretly, I was quietly dating someone here in New York City. Now, here's why Wyman is important, because I was with him in my late teens, early 20s, from about 19 to 22. Wyman and I were together. After we broke up, I moved to New York because I wanted a fresh start. I wanted to be a new bitch. So, dating here in New York as a black, gay, feminine presenting man, androgynous, however you want to wrap it up. It is extremely hard. I've had so many guys that prefer me one way. They're like, I want to date you and I want you to look how you look when you get up out of bed. How that makes sense, I don't know. And then other guys are like, oh, well, I don't like guys that wear makeup. I don't like guys that wear heels. All of those things. All of that internalized homophobia. Yeah. Black gay men dating in New York. It has been extremely tough. With that said, out of all of the years that I have been here, yes, I had dated here and there, casual flings here and there. But there was no one that I had had any type of relationship tie with, like exclusivity. No, I had run all of those years away from it because really for me, when I moved to New York, I really wanted to live like Carrie Bradshaw. I knew I wanted to work in fashion. I knew I wanted to work in beauty. I knew that I needed to work extremely hard. So I put all of my time, effort, and energy into cultivating the life that I live today. And I'm still not done. Now, before we even get into all of that, a background about me is that I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I met Wyman, transferred colleges at the time, finished college in Augusta, Georgia, a Payne College, PC one time, finished college, started doing styling work. My senior year in college, I really started Style by Stixx, started doing all of those things. And then it got me an opportunity, was styling someone at BET. They were like, you need to move to New York. I moved to New York, and that was the end of that. That's another story for another day. But, so I get to New York, right? And I've been dating here. I've been working. And I want to say about 2 years ago, almost 3, I ended up meeting this guy on Hinge. Met him on Hinge. I matched with him. Well, I liked his photo on Hinge. It was a while before he had even matched me. And so he came and the first thing that he said was, oh, is it too late? I was like, no. Because he was cute. He was cute. So I was like, no, it's not too late. We started chatting. Things went great. Then he ghosted me. he ghosted. So then he ghosted. I didn't hear from him for about 6 months. And then he came back. And I was still single. Wasn't dating anyone. I wasn't dating anyone exclusively. I'll say that. So he comes back. And from here, we started chit-chatting. Now, this was for about a year. 6 months later, we started talking for about a year. So me, because I'm not really a person that want to go with the flow. That's for lakes, that's for rivers. I need to know the plan. I need to know what we're doing. And so, we would go out on dates. At this time, he's the only person that I'm seeing exclusively, as far as spending time with, doing all of these things. He's the only person that I'm doing all of that with. So, after a while, I'm like, what we doing? What you want to do? Do you want me to be your boyfriend? So it just was like a lot of uncertainty with him around it. So I want to say after the summer, by that fall, I was like, okay, no, I need to know what you want to do with me, or we can end this. And he was like, we can end it. So that should have been my number one flag, because anybody that can get rid of me, or anybody in general that can get rid of you with no type of, oh, I want to work this out, I want to see where you're coming from, those are not the people for you. Like Beyonce said, how can you look at me and not see all the things? So he didn't see the things. We ended up breaking up that first time. That's October, I want to say October 2022, maybe October 2022. Yeah, it was. I had moved on. I had started back talking to somebody else that I used to talk to years ago. That was not working out because he wanted somebody masculine, and I don't got time for all that. Anyway, so this is October 2022. Fast forward to April of 2023, the guy and I reconnect again. So we're reconnecting, we're texting every day. I don't think that we had seen each other in April. It wasn't until like late May, if at all, we had seen each other again. And so we were really conversing, especially up around May and then June, because June is my birthday. Early June. So I remember that April, he was being very standoffish. Like, we were chit-chatting and he just was like, oh, this and this and this and that. I'm a bad person. And when people say stuff like that, he was drunk. He drinks a lot. Not to make him sound like an alcoholic, but he does drink. So when people say stuff like that, it's indicative to me that you got something going on. And it was true. He did tell me later on, he was like, yeah, I was like wrapping up a situation. Okay, whatever. Because they ain't got nothing to do with me. That's you, your moral compass. You just got to let me know so I can decide on how I want to navigate the situation, if I want to navigate it at all. But he had told me that he was wrapping that situation up. It was done. Okay. So now we're June 2023. It's my birthday. I didn't spend this birthday with him because we still were just very fresh. It was still very fresh. It was still very new. So I didn't think that it was appropriate to spend an actual birthday with him. We did end up going to the same day party, but we don't have the same group of friends. My best friend was visiting from DC at the time. So we had gone to the Polo Classic. And then the next day, which was my birthday, that Sunday, We had gone to the day party, and then I had other friends that were here from like Houston, Dallas, Atlanta. You know, he had his friends, I had my friends. So I was texting him. I think my phone died, his phone died, whatever. We didn't see each other in that day party. And if you've been to a gay day party in New York, you already know the vibes be packed. So I didn't see him. But nevertheless, we started spending more time through the duration of that summer. Now here we go again. Come fall 2023, September, October, his birthday is in November. So I'm trying to figure out what it is that you want to do with me. Are we introduced? Like, we've been hanging out. Now, I don't want to say hanging out because that's the word that he likes to use. We've been going on dates. You spent the night at my house. You've done all of these things. So am I your boyfriend? And he also was the first person to say, I love you. I want to say around July 2023, he told me that he loved me. And I was like, are you for real? Because at that point, I did love him. You know, I was like, oh, I think I do love him. And it had been a really weird emotion for me because I genuinely hadn't loved anybody since Wyman. And at this point, that's about 10 something years ago. So, he told me that he loved me. We're in the fall. I knew from last year to not press him because he doesn't like ultimatums. He didn't like any of those things. So I just was like, okay, well, he's very communicative. That's one thing I can say about him. He's very communicative. So he'll tell me in due time, and I just need to be patient. Okay. So November 2023 is here, and it's his birthday. He's a Sagittarius. So he invites me to his birthday party. And at this point, I know that all of his friends, some of his family is going to be there. So I'm like, I don't know if I should, but also like we are together. We love each other. So I should go. I go to his birthday party. He had a hold down for his birthday party. Cowboy boots, hats, the works, right? So I go to his birthday party, and he was drunk. I told y'all he liked to drink. So he was turned up. And he made a birthday speech, and he individually picked out all of his friends to tell them why he was appreciative of them and why he loved them. But he decides that he wants to go with me first. And of course, all of his core friends and family was like, who is that? What? Rightfully so, because prior to, I don't think anyone knew of me. Like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of his friends that I knew of me because we would chat, but not entirely. So it was like they were meeting me for the first time. It was a lot going on. It was a lot happening. So he's like, I love you, because he's making the speech in front of everybody about me. And he's like, I love you because you're patient, you're kind, that Bible verse, love is gentle, love is kind, love doesn't, all of that. He didn't say the Bible verse, but y'all know where I'm going with this. So I'm in shock because he has made this whole declaration to everybody about who I am to him. And this is a little bit uncomfortable because the guy, I'm trying not to say his name, but the guy is a man of very few words. He didn't have a problem talking about his feelings at that point, but also like he just wasn't a man that just was so like lovey-dovey. I blah, 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 blah. That's not him. So at that point, I was like, okay, this is great for me. This is great for us. I pretty much think that we can have a shot at this. And we'll be together, like, exclusively. So at that point, I knew that any person that was in my life at this point needed to go. And no one was in my life like serious, but there were people that I would text here and there, just like any other person. Like you never give up your whole roster, because you just never know when you're gonna have to go back to the streets. And so this is why I always ask this question to every guy that I meet: is anyone under the impression that they're your boyfriend? Because you could be thinking one thing, but they're picking up another. So it's just important to weed that out before you get into something else with somebody else, and it just gets messy. So like I said, I knew that anyone, anything, anybody had to go. So December, the holidays are here. I went home to Memphis. So, and he went home to where he's from. He's from, well, where his family is. So we were texting around New Year's, and one of the text messages that he sent me stuck out to me. This was on New Year's Eve, and he was like, next year, which is 2024, he was like, that is going to be a great year for us, baby. So I was like, this man want me in his life. Yes, you know, that's what I'm working hard for. You know, I'm showing up. I'm being the man, the boy, the guy. I'm trying to be all of those things that I feel that you want. Okay, so we are making progress at this point. So we get to Valentine's Day. We spend Valentine's together. He brings me flowers. He takes me to this really good restaurant. It was really good because our love language is food. So we love Asian food. We just love food. So he took me to this Chinese restaurant, I want to say. It was really good. Dumplings. I love duck. I love all that. So we had a good time. So now we've braved the winter. We are going into the spring. Everything is still fine. February, March, April. April is when New York unthaws. So this is, again, I don't know what it is. It's between April and September, October, where he just starts to do this like malfunctioning thing. Like he just starts to malfunction. It just goes crazy. So April's a little weird, but May is where it got tricky. May 2024 is where it got tricky. So it's Mother's Day. He went down to where his people were going. And he spent about 2-3 weeks at home in May. Now, everyone knows, especially black gays, we love to go to DC for Memorial Day weekend. That's just what we all do. So, we decided that we both were going to go to DC. I was going with my friends. He was going to go with his friends. I get to DC and I'm there with my best friends. And before I even get to that, I want to say around late January, February of 2024, we both decided together that we were going to delete our Tinders, our Jacked accounts, like all Hinge, all of that was just not needed because we were seeing each other. We both had agreed that we were going to be off the apps. Okay. So May comes. We're at DC Black Gay Pride. And I'm at dinner and drinks with friends. And these group of friends, they knew who he was. They knew his face. So my friend sends me a screenshot of the guy on Jacked. And immediately I start hyperventilating because what the actual fuck are you doing? And in a way, I'm embarrassed. It's so many things going through my mind all at once. So I sat on it for a couple of hours and then I ended up messaging him the picture. And I called him and messaged him the picture while we were on the phone. And then he was like, you got me. Like, he's really funny. He was like, you got me. And he was like, but I ain't fucked nobody though. That's not the point. The point is, we both had decided together that we weren't going to be on these apps. If that's something that you were on, you could have let me know so I could have also been on the same thing as well. Also, at this point in my mind, I'm thinking that we are exclusive. I'm thinking that we are together because we're doing all of these things. You're the person I'm spending my time with. I'm taking you to all of these work events. All of the, like, we're doing boyfriend things. So it just does not make sense to me, you know, why you would be here on that. So I spiraled. I crashed out. I didn't speak to him for about a day. The day before I was due to leave DC, he came into my hotel room and he just was like, yeah, child, ain't nothing out there. I'm sorry. Woo-de-woo-de-woo. My birthday, mind you, is the next week. So I'm in a sticky position because I do have birthday things that he's invited to and that I want him there, but I'm just not feeling him right now. Whatever. From with Wyman, I learned to let bygones be bygones. Because sometimes people just fuck up. Sometimes people just fuck up. That's it. So, I get over it. My birthday's here. Whatever. But it still was in the back of my mind. And I just was so uncomfortable because it was like, you just never know where people stand with you. They can wake up the next day and change their mind. And there's nothing that you can do about it. There's literally nothing that you can do. So this is why I'm uncomfortable, because I can't control this. Like, I like to have, not that I'm controlling, but I like to control what happens to me. So I'm so uncomfortable because I'm like, I'm in a position where I'm vulnerable. I love this person, but I don't know how they're gonna play. I don't know what they're gonna do with my heart next. I don't know. And I don't want to find out because I don't want to be put in a position that I didn't ask to be in. So June, rest of June is a little weird. July gets here. We go on a brunch date, right? And after brunch, which I'm extremely inebriated, two guys stop us on the street and they're like, are you two a couple? So because I'm just still feeling really weird, I let him answer the question because in my mind, I'm like, whatever he says we are, we are. And then I'm going to know what to do with that from there. So he's like, yeah, we are. So then this whole thing starts and they make a video of us asking us how we met. What are our future plans together? It's like a lot. So we ended up having to sign some papers on the spot. It was a lot. I didn't think nothing else about it. Weeks had gone by. August, I want to say late August comes. We are viral on TikTok and Instagram with this video, which now I'm extremely anxious about because publicly, nobody knew that I had a boyfriend. Only my close friends knew that I had someone that I called my boyfriend. And so let me explain to you why I was not as public with this guy. When I dated Wyman, everybody knew Wyman and I were together. We couldn't go to events. We couldn't go to school because he and I graduated from the same college. There was nowhere in Atlanta or in Georgia that we could go without people knowing where Stixx, where Wyman. It was a lot. And when we had broken up, I remember on Facebook, we had 932 friends in common. No. I didn't want to think about Instagram, but no. And so that just was too much for me because I had to also separate my friends from his friends, which we had conjoined together. And it was a lot of explaining why he and I were together anymore. Everybody always associated us together. So I just did not want that again, unless it was my actual husband. Because that's a person that I feel is worth, putting all over your socials, taking to your work events. Like somebody that's just truly long-term in your life. Not somebody that's here today, but could be gone tomorrow. For me, it was just also the embarrassment of explaining to people why you all had broken up. Because I feel like once you have such a public relationship, you do owe people an explanation of some sort. You don't have to divulge all of the intimate details. Of course, no one is going to ever tell you to do that. But I don't want to be the person to have to explain my situation, especially something that is so private. A breakup is very intimate, it's very private. And I don't want to have to explain all of that. Unless it's my husband. Back on topic. We're viral. Everybody for weeks is talking to me about this video. I didn't know you had a boyfriend. With it. It is too much. And even so, I think it was too much for him. So now things have shifted. I'm at this point where like, okay, well now everybody knows that this is my guy. So I am taking him to work events. I'm introducing him to my circle of friends that I have. And, you know, I'm just trying to figure out next steps. But something still was off. So September came, October came, and one night I was up. We don't follow each other on socials. That's number one, too. So that's something to keep in mind. We never followed each other on socials. I just have another thing, which is another video for another day. But we didn't follow each other on socials. So something came up on my Twitter, and I saw that he was like one of the main comments. So me being me, wanted to see if he was talking about me or whatever. I went to his Twitter. And why did I do that? From my POV, what I saw on his Twitter, I didn't like, which is another reason why I don't follow guys that I date or am interested in socials. Because no matter how you try to dress it, you're going to always see something that you don't like. But also, I shouldn't go to your page and find anything that I don't like, and vice versa. Period. So, I'm going through a series of tweets from October all the way up until May of 2024. And I'm just not liking what I'm seeing. A lot of things are just indicative to the fact that we are not exclusive. A lot of the things that he was saying. And also a lot of other things just was questionable on how many people you got in the rotation. Which again is fine, but let me know if that's what you're on so I can adjust myself. Either I'm going to be in the situation, like don't make the choice for me. Either I'm going to be in the situation or I'm not, but don't make that choice for me. So I crashed out. And it made our situation very tense for about 2 weeks. To where it got really uncomfortable. October was just very uncomfortable for me with him. Week of Halloween, 2024. Because we had gone out on the date the week before. It just was off. It was off. So week of Halloween, I'm fed up. Because you're also not going to gaslight me. Because he was like, oh, it's not what you think. You doing all of that for nothing. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now our situation is tense. At this point, the last week of October, I'm fed up because you're not going to make me feel like I did something to you. So I'm just asking him, like, where are we? And he's just like, well, I'm evaluating, like, us. Excuse? So he's like, I'm evaluating us. So I'm like, okay, you're entitled to that. But do you want to go on a break while you do that? Or should we just break up? This Negro says, I ain't think we was in no real relationship, no way. I'm like, thanks for letting me know. And my feelings were so hurt. Because That's not what I believed or was led to believe, and that's not how we governed ourselves, and that's not what you said at your birthday party. That's not, you don't tell people that you love them if you feel that way. I would never have made that viral video with him on TikTok and Instagram, for it to be all over TikTok and Instagram, if we weren't exclusive. So at this point, my feelings are really hurt, and I don't want to curse at him. I don't want to, be rude or, make the situation bigger than what it needs to be at this point. So I kept things very calm and just told him, I do love you, and I want what's best for you, even if what's best for you is not me in your life. So it's more to the story, but that's all that I care to share at this point. Yeah, I want to say, I don't think that he's a bad guy. The situation isn't the most ideal, but it was a big learning lesson for me. So I'm single.